Hi everyone. Have you ever launched a Facebook ad? It can be quite pain in the ass, especially for the first time to go through all the instructions, but if you do it a few times, it becomes quite easy. The problem, however, is to manage Facebook ads. This is constantly looking into your ad account, check for performing, non-performing ads or ad sets, adjust budgets, change tags or visuals, change targeting, etc. The one who tests the most wins the game, as you know. This can be quite time-consuming, as well as requires constant ideation and effort for successful management. Instead, you can ask AI to do that for you. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can connect to Facebook Ad Manager, grab all the data you need for the analysis, and pass this to AI. AI is going to analyze the data and provide the suggestions for you. You will receive a cheat sheet of changes to be implemented, and I will even show you how you can let AI do the implementation for you. Stick around, because this is totally new and unique process that 99% of companies are not even aware of. And for those who don't know me, my name is Maxim Sich, and I'm founder of Flowby.ai, AI automation and integration agency. If you're interested in automation business processes with AI, you can find my contact information down in the description below. All right, this is your all-in-one guide to making Facebook ad management a walk in the park. Let's dive right in and get your ads working for you. Alright, so this is how the process looks. Let's actually dive deep and see what it consists of. I just made the first test run to get some data, and let me actually show you what it consists of. So the first block is really to set your Facebook IDs to connect to your Facebook ad account. The first, I will have business ID, then I have ad account ID, and then we have spreadsheet ID for our Google Sheets, and we'll need that later, I'll show you. And then we have a date preset if we want to use it like for the last 7 days. I haven't used it for my particular case, but you could use the preset to run the ad for a certain period of time. And once we've done that, we have the next 3 blocks, which is basically connecting to different Facebook campaign parts. So the first one is list campaign, the second one is list ads, and the third one is list ads. If you're in your Facebook ad manager, you can also see, and I've done this campaign for the sake of testing and showing the example. So we've got a campaign name here, and then we got the ad sets, and we can have multiple ad sets, we can have multiple campaigns, and basically each campaign consists of ad sets, and each ad set consists of an ad. And we can have multiple ads. Again, we can play with visuals, with type of ads, with text, etc., etc. So that's why when I have it here, I want to list all the information on my campaign settings. And here you can actually see the IDs, you can see the type of campaign, the status, you can see what is the goal of the campaign, and a lot of different information. The next one is list ads. And here again, you can see a lot of information about your ad. So in this case, we can see the creative. We don't actually see the creative themselves, so we don't see the text. And by the way, if any of you have found a way to actually get the text and visuals from your Facebook ads to then later analyze that, then please let me know. And the same goes to the ad sets as well. We can have the budget remaining, billing event, bid strategy, and all the information that we would literally go through. For example, ad sets, we go to edit, and we need to set up all those settings right here. We've got the bid control, we've got dynamic creative, we've got budget schedule, budget scheduling, we've got locations, and we can edit the locations later on. So a lot of those things, advantage plus audience, etc. So all those settings are basically listed right there, so we can access them instantly. So what I do first is basically I connect to my Facebook accounts, and then here I get all the campaigns that are active and post. Basically here, same thing, I get all the campaigns that are active or post. In my case, I have just one campaign, that's why I'm getting the campaign that I have. And the next block is getting the insights from Facebook. And here, as you can see, you will need to connect to your Facebook account, that's for sure. But here you connect to your ad account, you've got your ad set. You can specify the time range for which you want to extract the information from your campaign. So in my case, I go with, let's take it from 1st September to the 30th of September. And here we can choose whatever fields we want to extract from our Facebook ad manager. In my case, I'm going to extract account ID, account name, ad ID and name, and set ID and set name, campaign ID, campaign name. And then I go with clicks. And here you can find a lot of information. And actually, some of the information that you're going to click there, it might not be available in your Facebook ad account. So you need to make sure that actually, if you're, for example, have cost per lead and you haven't specified leads in your ad account, you will not have that information. You will receive an error. So you have to pick only the statistics that really relates to your ad. So in my case, I'm gonna go through cost per click, cost per mile, cost per point, click-through ratio, date start, date stop, and reach and spend. So those are all the fields that I will be extracting from Facebook Ad Manager. Then we've got the breakdowns if you need by age or whatever, and you can get the same statistics basically in your Facebook ad account as well. If you'll be exporting or creating breakdowns, you can select the breakdowns. So this is pretty much the same thing. The reason I'm gonna do this here because I want to extract that information and later pass to my AI agent or AI assistant that's gonna analyze that information. I could of course do it myself there, but I don't want it because I want it to do like on a daily basis. So that is done like programmatically. So once we have extracted this information, we can actually see we've got a couple bundles, and the reason we get a couple bundles because I have run the ad for 2 days, and basically here we can see September 26, September 27, and here we can see all the results that we got for this campaign per day. Pretty cool, right? What I do next is I export the results into my Google Sheets, and if you look right now to my Google Sheets, they're empty, and the reason they're empty because I have set to delete the rows that I've just created later on, and I'll explain why. And once we run this, I will show you what appears there. But basically the idea is the following. We've got the campaign ID, campaign name, ad set, ad name ID, all the information that we just extracted from the Facebook Ad Manager. And then we also have some additional columns that I put here: buying time, bid amount, reviewing, budget, remain daily budget, optimization goal, age split, etc. The reason I want to have this because later when I will ask my AI assistant to recommend me adjust my campaigns or adjust my ad sets or adjust my ads, I want it to have the most complete package of information that it has. And if it suggests that I will need to launch a different campaign, I want it to have the information of, hey, this is my optimization goal, for example, for this campaign. And if this doesn't work, please let me know. So I want to pass that information to my AI assistant in that case, right? So that's why I create this information in Google Sheets, and here you can literally see I've created plenty of different columns for each column to pass a single value from my Facebook ad account. And then what I do next is basically I aggregate the whole thing to the JSON string, and the reason I need to do this because I want to pass the whole thing to my AI assistant. And if I wouldn't have this JSON aggregation module here, then otherwise it will be sending this information 2 times, and so basically we'll be calling 2 times ChatGPT to do this instead of aggregating the whole information and passing that to ChatGPT. So that's why we need an aggregation module here, and we use JSON module here. Next, basically what we have is we have OpenAI Assistant. In my OpenAI Assistant, I've pre-created it in the playground. It has the following instructions. We give it a role, that's Ad Performance Analyzer. We give it certain context. We give it a task. And as usual, I would describe in detail what kind of output I'm expecting, what data it's going to see, what it is used for, and what are the examples of the outputs I'm expecting. So once this thing does this, I also prompt my ChatGPT assistant to reply in the Markdown format. So here you can see the prompt. So that was the system prompt that I just showed you right here. And here we have a user prompt, which says, here's the latest Facebook ad campaign data. And I pass the JSON string that just aggregated. Make sure to consult the data. Today, the date is now. So I want to make sure, because it will have the data of the campaign in the JSON string already. And I want to make sure it knows what the data is today so that, it can refer back, which is quite important. Make sure to stay under 200 words. So I don't want it to write a lot of text, and output in Markdown format. And the reason I want it in Markdown format, because later on I want to be receiving Gmail message with the suggestions, and just in case to double check it before implementation myself, I can be reviewing those suggestions in more readable format. You actually gonna see what it looks like. So the next we get a router to another route here, and I'm going to talk about this later. First, we're going to go through the first line. So here the ChatGPT outputted this in the Markdown format. So I want to transform the Markdown to HTML so that I can pass this content to my email, and then I will be able to see all the nice formatting in it. So if we look here, it basically received the output from ChatGPT, and here it transforms into the HTML kind of format, the whole thing. And the formula here is pretty simple. So ChatGPT, what it might sometimes do, it might output like quotation marks Markdown, and close the whole output with the quotation marks. It does it with any codes, and whenever you're in ChatGPT interface, actually, you're probably gonna see like this coding snippet pops up. So this is what it does. I want to avoid that because that might affect my another module that's going to just transform it to HTML. So I want to make sure that I replace this with nothing so it reads it correctly. Okay. And then it basically gets the whole output. What happens next is I ask it to send the message through my email. And the subject is ad campaign results from this date. We can also insert here today's date. So that's just like for today, the result, and we send the content in HTML. And if we go to our email, we can actually see how that works. So basically, we've got Facebook ad performance analysis recommendations. Here is the description, here are the observations, and here are the recommendations for our ad account. And then what happens next is basically it searches for the rows. And in my case, it found 2 rows because the ad was running for 2 days. And we're gonna check that again. And then it aggregates the whole thing. And then basically it iterates back in the other order. So the reason we need these 2 modules here is because whenever I was searching rows and then passing it to another module to delete a row, the problem was that first it searches the second row and then it searches the third row, and it passes them in the following format. So the first row that in Google Sheets the module is going to delete was the second row, and once it deletes the second row, third row becomes the second row. And then the next time when it passes the third row, it doesn't find any data there. So that's why what I needed to do that in descending order. So first of all, we pass the third row results, it deletes the third row, and then it passes the second row results, and it deletes the second row results. So that's why we've got the sort function here to descend it by row number, and it passes, first of all, it goes for the third row, then goes to the second row, and it deletes it by order. And that way, we want to make sure that our Google Sheets is clean and nice. The reason I'm cleaning the Google Sheets documents because it aggregates all the data for all your campaigns that you have for each specific date, and it will create a lot of mess, especially if you're going to run it on a daily basis. And the next day you run it, if you don't delete the data, it will just accumulate the data right there, and it will be a total mess and a lot of data, and even like repeating data. So we don't want to make that. Let's actually run this together and see again if we get all the information in our Excel file. So now we've got the Excel updated. So here you can find that we got 2 ads. Here's the CPM, cost per point, click-through ratio 0. Fortunately, we've got a spend for 2 days. We get a bid amount. It's actually 500 cents, so it's like 5. I've also added the preview link just to take a look, but that's not important. So now we already see that it just deleted the results. So this is what happened. And if we go to our email, we can find again that it sent us the email with the suggestion. And then, as I promised, there is another block, and let's actually take a look what this block does. So this block works to actually implement the changes. So this one in the first row, it will really just provide you with suggestions for you to implement the changes. But the second block that we have right here, it will actually do the implementation for you. And you really need to follow this block if you are sure that your assistant that you've just trained and you've provided with a lot of prompts and stuff, it will actually give you decent insight. For this, you will need a lot of testing. And I'm saying this is the system that you've just created. And for real-time usage, what you would need to do a lot of prompting. And this is for everybody who says prompt engineering is easy. Once you start building this system, you understand that it's not actually that easy. To get a decent result on a constant basis, so that you can trust it, so that it can manage the ad account for you, you need to do a lot of prompting. And that's why here, you might not end up just with one block. You might actually be getting a few blocks just to make sure the one assistant actually checks the other assistant and the result is pretty nice. So that's what we would do for a real case example. The second block that we see right there, what it does is it receiving the suggestion from our Facebook assistant expert, and it transforms those suggestions to a JSON format. So this one just transforms it as general, right? So it says, hey, here I actually provided with examples of how the JSON would look like. And those keys that I provide, those keys are actually taken from my Facebook ad account. And those are some triggers that I can change later on. Let me show you. For example, here we can later on let AI update an ad set for us. So we can say, hey, you can change the status. You can say active or pause our ad sets. You can actually change the bids. You can change the bid strategy. You can change the billing event. It will not always work because some of the changes will be always for any certain campaign, they will be strict. So you will not be allowed to change that. You have to double check that. But for some campaigns, you will be able to manage this directly through the make.com basically interface here. And you can set the daily budget, daily minimum spend, daily spend cap, etc. You can change it right here. And basically once you do that, if you believe your AI can do this, it will actually be changing that for you. And in order for AI to change that, we need to extract the information in exactly the right format we need it, right? And for example, for here, if we want to set a daily budget, it will need to understand. So here are the numbers of daily budget we have had before. So please set them not more than this and this if you need to change that. So we need to pass those instructions to our ChatGPT, either as a system prompt or as a user prompt. And here, basically, I have another assistant that would only those fields that I will need to pass to my Facebook Ad Manager, so that those fields exactly match the output I want to have. So in my case, for example, I have budget, and it will be set to a number. We've got a lifetime budget, we've got end cap, we've got start time, we've got stop time, etc. So I would specify the exact format. And the reason for that is because I don't want it to mess up with the thing. So let me show you one thing. You can do the same thing with your campaign and ad, and you can update those things as well. But I will show you an example with an ad set. And an ad set, so my campaign, of course, is post, but my ad set is active. It actually doesn't change anything, because as long as your campaign doesn't run, your ad set will not appear anywhere. But I will show you an example of how we can control that, make.com, and actually make it possible for your AI to actually manage the account. And as an example, I will take this posing the campaign. The results are not satisfactory. And if we look at this assistant here, past one last line, campaigns that are low performing must be posted immediately. And this relates directly to my campaign, because with my campaign, I've got reach, but I got 0 click-through rate, right? So nobody has clicked through my campaign. I don't care actually, because I was just doing this for testing. But the important stuff is for ChatGPT to actually identify that this campaign is low performing, it needs to pose it, and then it needs to pass that information to the next agent that the campaign should be posted. And what is important also, it should be passed in a certain format, because if we just say pose the campaign, it doesn't work, right? It should be given in a certain format. So that's what we are working on right now. Let me show you how that works. Right, so let's run it again. And it usually takes a little bit of time to do the reporting, so let's wait a couple minutes. Also, it's important to say that sometimes this actor can fail for whatever reasons. So what it would probably do is you would do a reset. You would set another block or error checking block to do it again. All right, so it has passed the information. We have updated Google Sheets, and let's actually see how our GPT assistant is going to reply to this. So it has created a message and some suggestions. Let's take a look at this assistant can create a JSON type of output for us, because I don't really care in what format this is going to be, because this block, transform text to structured data, will exactly extract the variable. So it is very important for me that this block is correctly structured. This one can be like certain text. I would just say, hey, try to output it in a JSON format, but you can fail, that's okay. But this block cannot fail, because this block will be passing the structured data to our Facebook Ad Manager. That's why let's wait a few seconds more. So let's actually see why it failed. So this guy has provided some certain JSON structure, some explanation towards that. Looks okay. Actually, the status is post, and it says status post. Let's actually see what we have here. And here we have pose, which is not correct, because for the GPT here, if we not gonna map it and we want to pose the campaign, the status should look like with D at the end, basically post, not pose. And that's why those little things happen, and that's why prompt engineering is important. You need to make sure you match the output that your GPT provides. So in my case, this status is not correct. So what I'm probably going to do again, I'm going to go to this guy, and I would try to prompt it more specifically that the status type is post, not pose. Let's actually take a look. So status of campaign, text, active, post, didn't get it. Let me try to explain that in prompt. Status of campaign, type of status of campaign, active, post. And let me do it in quotation mark. Okay. Let's see if that helps. Let's try again. All right. So it looks like we got something. So let's actually take a look. So this guy has provided the result. It says status post here. This guy correctly outputted the status as post, and this block has finished successfully. So if that happens correctly, then it would mean that this ad set status here should be actually off. And let's reload it to see if that actually worked out. Yeah, and that successfully worked out, because it identified that the campaign was not successful. It has bad results, so we needed to turn off those ad sets that are here. Pretty cool. And you can do the same thing with the campaigns, with the ads, and a lot of other things. And we also sent us, again, an email. And if we go and check another email, we get it here. So again, as you can see, there are differences in what type of recommendation the format it provides us. Again, if you want it to be consistent, you probably want to specify the exact output as an example, give it a few examples in what type of output you're expecting. But as for the sake of the example here, that's okay for me. So yeah, this is basically how you can get your system to get the data from Facebook Ad Manager, pass that data to OpenAI assistant so that it can analyze the data and basically provide you with suggestions what you need to improve. First of all, you can receive it in an email and check it yourself and see if those suggestions are relevant and edit and adjust the ad manager. Or if you trust it and if you test it a few times and it works smoothly, then basically what you can do, you can delegate this process to ChatGPT and it can manage ads for you. And it can do a lot of testings and changes and a lot of stuff, which is pretty cool and unique. The only thing I'm lacking actually here that I'm not happy about is ability to actually change the ad texts and visuals. And this is not something that I have found uniquely in Make natively integrated. Probably you can get this with an API call. And if you guys have done it before, please share resources or information or other video. How did you do this and how that works? I'm pretty sure you can do this, and in the Facebook documentation, if there are plenty of information, and you can probably find it there as well. So to quickly recap, we have covered how to automate your Facebook ad management with AI to save time, reduce costs, and improve ad performance. Now you have the power to let AI handle the heavy lifting while you focus on strategy and growth. If this video helped you simplify your Facebook ads, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on more tips and tools that can take your business to the next level. Want to dive deeper into AI marketing? Check out my recent video on LinkedIn post automation with AI. It helps you maximize your return on investment on LinkedIn efforts. Thanks for watching, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.